I'm going to say right click, place room components from schematic parameters. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to store all those parameters that this plugin uses. And there's about 14 parameters at last count that stores how the component's placed, what layer it's on, top or bottom, and then all the reference designator formatting as well. So we often find ourselves in a situation where we've got a new requirement and we're already most of the way through a board. And in this instance, let's say that the customer asks us to add a new USB interface. It's like, hey, I forgot to tell you. So what we know that we've done a USB interface before. So here's a past design where I know I've done a USB interface, and here's the sheet symbol, and here's the layout. So I'm just like, hey, great. So I can say store room placement. Now let's do some setup just so you know that the script or plugin is actually doing the work. So here we don't see any of those PCB prefixes, those parameters. This one should have it. So here are the parameters that are used to place all the components and format the text. So you can see in this one there's none of those parameters. I've deleted them from that one and also this component. So here we can right click on the room and say store room placement, and it opens up the schematic, and I'll show you the message box. It's giving us the name of the room, and then it's saying that it's updating all these components. So let's see what it did. If we double click this component now, all of a sudden we see it has all these PCB parameters, and then in this one as well. So now we've got all those PCB parameters stored. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to grab a link to a path to my new project. So if you right click in Altium and say explore, it'll pull up an explorer window. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to say save copy as, put in my new path, save it and replace it. And now I'm gonna, let's see, okay, I'm gonna add my sheet that I just copied in, and in my old design, here's the sheet symbol, and we won't hook up all the lines, but we'll just copy in the sheet symbol and then compile it. Okay, so it recognizes the structure. You can see over here our new design has this sheet in it now, and it's all rolled up under this top sheet. So we see that it recognizes it. Now, in order to get the design and the components into the PCB, we need to annotate. So I've got that mapped to Control L. It's also available under Tools, Annotation, something like that. And I'm going to say annotate undesignated. Okay. So usually there would be some things popping up here where I would say annotate undesignated. It would make a bunch of changes. I'd hit this create ECO. Okay. So now we've got our new page in our design, and let's go look at the piece. So here we'll pull those changes in. Anybody else looking forward to the new version of Altium? Hopefully it's a little speedier. Okay, so I like to look these over. It's changing a bunch of stuff. This is the first time I've done an ECO on this design for a while. But we'll just go ahead and pull that in. Hope that it's all right. Okay. Well, so let's see what I did. Okay, so this is what we see. It just kind of spits all the components in. Yeah. All right, I'm going to turn that DRC off. Most of you guys probably know how to do this, but tools, design rule check, rules check, see which ones are on. And we're just going to shut some of these off. Okay, so usually what I do when I first come in is I select all these components and arrange them in a small space so that it doesn't take up, so you can kind of organize things. But if you've got them, if you've had them placed already, now we can say, let's save everything off real quick. Okay, I'm going to say right click, place room components from schematic parameters. Okay, there we go. So that should be the same placement that was in the previous design. And all these reference designators are different in the PCB than they were in the old design. In fact, we can look back here. This is R64, R67, and here this is R257 and R260. And the reason that it can keep track of that is that it uses the component links that are in the design to reference it back to the source schematic. So this is how you can copy room placements from an old design into a new design relatively painlessly. In my next video, I'll show you how to, if you've already got the sheet copied over, I'll show you how to copy from an old design to a new design without having to blow away your old sheet. And also, if you've got it all routed already in a previous design with a snippet, you can just place the snippet that has the track work and the vias and all that stuff into here. The problem with snippets has always been the components getting blown away once you do an import. So that is how we store the design. Leave me a comment, subscribe to make sure you see my future videos, and let me know what you think. Thanks.